When did this take place?
I went in the Air Force in 1956, and I got out in 1960. And when I was in the Air Force, I was trained to be an electronic technician, and I was stationed at various Tripoli, Libya, working on the Air Rescue Squadron, and then I ended up at Biggs Air Force Base in El Paso at the SAC Air Force Base, working on B-52s and KC-135s and so forth. And when I got out of the service in 1960, I kept the trade as an electronic technician and eventually worked for the FAA and the U.S. government, and I retired about 10 years ago as an FAA aviation inspector.
When you went into the military, where were you living?
Atlantic City, New Jersey.
And you joined the Air Force because
I had no future, I had no trade, and I had no, I wanted to pick up something.
Where did you first go for indoctrination and training?
Lackland Air Force Base in Texas, up San Antonio, Texas. That's where I was basically training.
And how long and what type of training did you receive initially?
The basic training was only 6 weeks basic training, and then I went to Scott Air Force Base. I went to the radio navigation school for 9 months.
Then from there, where did you go?
Tripoli, Libya.
Okay.
Air Rescue Squadron.
Now let's go back to your initial introduction into the military. How did you get along with the people that you were training with, and to be
got along very well with everyone. I had no problems whatsoever.
No.
In fact, I look forward to in the Air Force.
Okay, those are the kind of things they want to hear. So, when you left training, did you go immediately overseas, or did you get some 10 days off?
Oh, I think I got something, if I remember correctly, that was way back, maybe 2 weeks before I went.
That's good. That's good. Then how did you go? What was your transportation?
On the C-121 overseas from New York. Went from New York to Tripoli, Libya.
And at Tripoli, what did you expect to see, and what did you see?
I didn't know what to expect when I went to Tripoli, and when I got there, it was a heartbreaker. I didn't like it at all because it was very hot, and the people were very different story, stuff like that. But I was there for 18 months, didn't enjoy it one bit.
When you first got there and through your life there, what were your living conditions, and where did you live?
We lived in the barracks on the base. It's called Wheelers Air Force Base. We lived on the barracks, and the accommodations were very good. They were air conditioned, and because it was very hot there, it's almost like 132 degrees in the shade. And we used to work from 6 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon because of the heat. We couldn't work in the afternoon, it was so hot.
Were you indoors, outdoors most of the time?
Half and half. We had worked in the shop, but most of the time we did ramp work on the airplane outside.
And your work on the airplane consisted of what?
Work on avionics equipment, changing black boxes and stuff like that, do repair on the aircraft, the wiring, and we do inspections on the aircraft, stuff like that, mostly all electronic stuff.
Did you run tests on the equipment after you installed it?
Oh yes.
Were you assigned specific aircraft, or were...
No. We had SA-16s, we had H-19 helicopters, and we had 2 C-54 aircrafts. So we worked on all 3.
In general, were you required to fly it?
No.
In general, the officers and men that you associated with over there, what were they like, and how did you get along with them?
Oh, got along pretty well. Got along very well with everyone. Yeah.
Were there any...
We were like a close knit there. I mean, we had no choice, but we all lived together, and we got along very well.
Were there any specific incidents that you remember that were upsetting or not?
Yeah, being there, that was upsetting.
Okay. All right. Okay. From how long were you in Tripoli?
18 months.
18 months. And from there you went?
I went to Scott Air Force Base. Well, I went home for a couple weeks, then I went to Scott Air Force Base for 6 months at a transient squadron where we would work on everything that came in, no Pacific airplane.
And how long were you there?
6 months.
6 months. So this puts you how far into your enlistment period? This is how many? A year, 2
That was
years?
about almost 3 years, the
Okay.
3rd year.
How long were you in the military?
4 years.
4 years old. So when you had left this last position, where were you sent?
Biggs Air Force Base in El Paso, Texas, SAC Air Base.
On a SAC base?
Yes.
Okay. Was SAC more to or less to your liking?
I liked it a lot.
You liked
I
SAC?
liked it very much. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your function and what SAC did that you can tell.
Well, we worked on B-52s and KC-135s, and main function was, of course, avionics repair on the aircrafts. And the fun part of it was we were all not required, but if we wanted to, we could fly a certain amount of hours a month to get flight time, which means a little extra money. So I liked that a lot, to get a chance to go fly for a day or so on an aircraft, B-52 or KC-135.
Okay. Your major function, though, was not the flight. Major function was...
The repair and maintenance on the aircraft.
Okay. Did anything, I don't want to use the word exciting, but anything that you enjoyed the most or was most exciting up until the time you were discharged?
As far as the military, I don't know. I can't say it was very exciting because I didn't re-enlist.
That's okay. That's one of the things that would come up.
Yeah.
So you were discharged where?
El Paso, Texas.
El Paso,
Biggs Air
Texas.
Force Base in El Paso.
Okay.
I went back to Atlantic City.
Okay. And then when you went back, when you were discharged, what did you do? How did you get into your present function?
I got a job at the experimental center. It's called NAFEC, National Aviation Facility Experimental Center up there, where they do experimental work on aircraft. I got a job with Lockheed. Lockheed had a contract to maintain government airplanes. So that's where I first got my job there. That's how I first started out in civilian life, as an electronic technician.
Did your Air Force training help guide you into the type of job you picked up?
That was the main purpose and my reason for going in the military is to...
Okay, and did that help you get your job?
Yes.
From the time you were out of the military until you were retired, how long was this?
Retired from what?
Wherever your last job was that you had.
Okay, the last job was I was an FAA aviation inspector. First job I got was 1960. That's when I first started out in civilian life, and I retired in 1995.
All in during that time, basically, you used your background all the way back to your Air Force training to help you guide you through this.
Yes.
Okay.